Hello there, my name is Yellow Cake. I make fursuits, and if you found your way to this video, it's probably because you have ordered one of my Protogen suits. So today I'm going to be going over how to assemble the Protogen, how to equip the Protogen, how to put everything on, and some of the details about options for assembling things and how to adjust stuff. This is also going to be going over bodysuits and the DigiFeet. So if you happen to order the bodysuit and other regular fursuit parts on top of the Protogen, I'm going to show you how those combine and how they're compatible and how you can kind of switch between the two of them. So this video is going to be using Zerebro's Protogen. They're the one that this video is mainly for, but this will be applicable to anybody else that orders my Mk.4 Protogen and also gets bodysuits and feet and all the other things. So anyways, let's get started. First things first, let's just start with the fur stuff, right? So here's the completed bodysuit, and you can see there's already the padding in it, so the digi padding, the trash can. Actually, I can hang you up. Right there. So as you can see, there's already padding in it, and there's one main zipper that goes down the middle, and then there's also Velcro at the top, this little extra Velcro strap here. So if you need to air your bodysuit out, you can just leave that Velcro attached and leave the body open. Sometimes at cons, if I need to air out my chest, I'll just unzip it and kind of, do one of these numbers while keeping the top Velcroed. But this helps to keep it from getting split apart and like hurting the zipper. But if you look inside, kind of hard for you to see in there, but so there's two butt pads. One there, one there. There's the tail hole. I really need to make this taller for you. Hold on. There's going to be a lot of camera adjustment in this video. Okay. So if you see inside here, I reach into the tail hole till we have a black butt pad, another black butt pad, and then there's two knee pads, which you can't actually see, but they're what's right here. And if you look closely, you'll see like little seam lines. That's where there's a big thing of Velcro sewn inside on both the knees, and that's what the knee padding attaches to. And then around the butt there's one and then two, and that's what the butt pad's attached to. So when you need to wash your bodysuit, you can just take these pads out and you can wash them separately. And when you wash the bodysuit, you just want to fold it inside out completely and make sure all the zippers are zipped up all the way, and then just wash it on cold and either delicate or normal. Just use regular detergent, no bleach or anything, obviously, and do not put it in the dryer. When you dry it out, when you finish the spin cycle, you want to pull it out and you want to hang it up and just have a fan blowing at it for like a day. Don't dry it out on a clothesline outside, because the UV will make the fur get dull and it'll damage it. So just air dry, and then once it's fully dry, then you can use a slicker brush, and you want to use this on any of your fur stuff. You want to get a proper cat slicker brush like this, and that will clean the fur up and tease it out nicely. Right now it all looks fine, but when it gets out of the wash, it's always going to be matted, so you want to brush it when it's dry. That's how you want to do that. So let's see. Okay, so when it comes to assembling the Protogen, the tail itself has that big kidney belt that goes around the waist, and I'm going to bring it back down here. And that tail is kind of the business end that holds up the hip armor. So we're going to come back to the hips later, but just to demonstrate. So inside the hips, you can see the padding there. But then there's these two bungees. I need to get the light up higher. Hold on. I have a giant stack of tape rolls here. I'm going to just Okay, now the light is up higher. If you look down into here, you can see there's these two bungees, and they have carabiners on the end of them. So that's your front and your back. And when you slip your leg into this, like that, is that the right one? Yeah. When you put that on your leg, you're going to have this carabiner in the front, and that will attach to the belt. There's D-rings on the belt, and the belt is permanently sewn to the tail. So the tail has to go into the bodysuit first before you actually put the bodysuit on. So there's this one, and then there's one in the back, and there's a few things you need someone to help you with to get this armor on. And a big one is this back bungee, because there's going to be a D-ring like right here on the tail that you're going to have to get to. I might be able to do it on my own, and you might be able to if you're flexible, but you definitely won't be able to if you already have the chest armor on. So the first thing that we're going to do when we want to suit then is feed our tail in. So let me go ahead and... Actually, before we do that, well... Okay, so here's the tail. It's big, obviously, but it'll go with the rest of the suit quite nice because everything's kind of big, including the hips on it. So if you see on the tail here, first of all, this is just a kidney belt. So it just opens up like so, and you wrap it around you, and then attach it like that, and then there's these extra bits that you can bring to tighten it up even more. So it's really tight around your waist like a corset. So on one side we have, get in the frame, we have a D-ring right here and a D-ring right here. So this is your front and this is your back where those carabiners are going to hook up. And then there's a clip here and there's a smaller D-ring. So the smaller one and this clip are going to be for attaching the suspenders. So that's what I'm going to show you now. So you're going to have to attach these suspenders to the tail first. It's just these two. It's basically just nylon strapping with clips on them, and you want these pads that I made to be going down on your shoulders so that nylon doesn't bite into your shoulders. Ask me how I've learned I need all this stuff through trial and error. So one end of it is Velcro. So there's the sticky Velcro and there's the soft Velcro. So on these back D-rings on either side of the tail right here, you're going to run this is very complicated to do on the camera. Okay, so you're going to run that through there, and then it's going to double over itself, like so. Okay, so now that's like attached in the back. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Like so. And now these are going to crisscross on your back and then come down over the shoulders like this. So I could probably just put this on real quick to kind of show you what I mean. Take my hoodie off. Stay there. Okay. There's going to be a lot of cuts in this video. Okay. So what I'm demonstrating here, you're going to have to kind of like do inside the bodysuit. So it's a little bit awkward, but it's totally doable. Plenty of clients, and we'll kind of figure it out. It also helps if you have your tail like up on a bed or something, because then you're able to get everything way tighter. So attach that like so, and then get that even tighter. And then now you can see I have clip, and then I also have the spots where the carabiners are going to hook onto, right? So if I can reach back and grab the straps, so that's my right strap. It's going to go over the shoulder and clip on here, and then this is just a double loop so you can adjust the length to fit your body. And the other one on top, like so. So now if I show you how that's assembled on the body, and then there's the tail, and then there's the back. So you see now there's also the D-rings there. Okay. So that's how it's going to look on the inside of the bodysuit, right? Now you might be able to like put, if you're really good, you might be able to put the tail on and then like slip the tip of it in through the tail hole here and then like climb like into the bodysuit like as the tail is going through the hole. I'm not going to do that though. I'm just going to put the tail through first. So I'm going to actually just leave both of these shoulder straps just completely attached. And now I'm going to feed the tail through the bodysuit. This is a lot easier if it's like on a bed. Actually, you can go either way. This tail is quite thick, so I think instead of feeding the tail through, I'm going to feed the belt through on the outside end. So, little discontinuity here in post. I forgot the girdle part, which should basically be replacing what I'm doing right now, so I'm going to append where I add that. Okay, here it comes. The last thing is your girdle, right? So this also has a pad in it, just velcros in, pretty straightforward. And this is a pretty simple process. That's the front, this is the back. Oh yeah, the tail hole, I forgot about that. I was like, wait a minute, seems like this is way too easy. Okay, well I need to mention that as well. You have to slide the tail through the tail hole. Okay. Hey, if you guys want to play a fun drinking game, take a shot every time I say tail hole. So we need to go back to like square one, where we're putting the tail through the tail hole in the bodysuit. There's an added step that I forgot about, and it's this. It's the back plate of the girdle. You can kind of see what you have to do already. Okay, the thing that I forgot. Stay up here. This is the tail. This is the tail strap. Thing that I forgot. This, the girdle plate. There's a tail hole, right? So that is part of the putting the tail on the bodysuit process. The best way to do it probably is going to be, so like, see this middle part? That's what goes right across your crotch. So this is the front. This is the back, so it goes on you like that, right? So this stuff, before you put it in the tail hole, it needs to go through this hole. So, oh wait, that's backwards. Okay. Sorry, I'm relearning this myself as I go. Like this. Like this, with the nice side facing out that's supposed to face out. Big ass tail will not stay in place. Okay. Oh, that stupid strap. Is this fun to watch? I hope it is. Okay. You'll get used to this. I haven't done this in a long time. I totally forgot about this part. Through there. Okay, there we go. Now we have effectively fed this through this, so it's now like kind of part of that backup. See how all the tail stuff is fed through? See that? Come on, get in the shot. See that? See everything is through that now? Now, you take this whole bundle of black crap, and now you feed that through this hole. Okay? And then you put it all on underneath the bodysuit and stuff, okay? And then, when you get everything on, you get like the hips on, I'll tell you when to actually do this spot in the end, but then when all that's on, okay, I'm just dubbing over what I said here because after I got the suit on, it actually seems like putting the girdle straps on before the hips is the better option, so the girdle strap should go underneath the carabiners. Okay, now back to where we left off, just putting the tail in the bodysuit. So, let me demonstrate that. There's our tail. Shove it all in there. Kind of gotta run your finger along the edges. Get it all the way through. Okay, and it looks like we're through. Okay, cool. Now, I can show you. Oh. This is so hard to do on camera. Okay. So we can see, let me get these out of the way. Unclip you, unclip you. Now, you can kind of see everything splayed out on the inside. So we have our belt coming through like that. We have these on here like that. And now it would be ready for you to like put the whole thing on essentially. So I guess I'll try and do that for you real quick. This isn't really meant to fit me, but I'll give it a shot. Just for demonstration purposes. You're not really going to be able to see much of this, but big tail in the way. Ugh. 1 foot, 2 foot. So now the legs are in, and then now is when it helps to put the tail up on something, up on the chair. And then now, before you put the torso of the bodysuit on, now is when you do your tail. For the kidney bell rather. So we're going to do that. We're going to clip our thingies. That's a technical term, thingies. Okay, and now like the tail is basically attached to me. And now all I have to do is get into the arms of the bodysuit like this. And then you kind of just shimmy your way up into it. Like that. Like that. Okay. And now we're in. Now we're in. Big tail. So zip this up and away. There we go. No, come back. I hate this camera stand. Just get a full shot of that. I'm just knocking everything over with the tail. There you go. Big tail. Big bodysuit. Now you can see from the outside. There's a line right there. That is the hole that you're going to attach the D-ring to. See, there's the D-ring. That's where you're going to attach the carabiners to on the hips. But it's Velcro, so when you're not using it, you can Velcro shut like that. There's one on that side, and there's two in the back as well. So you can see how, now that you're in it, getting your hand back there and undoing the Velcro, and then getting the carabiner up in, it's really hard to do on your own. You should just really have somebody help you with it. Okay, so let me get out of this. Before he's sweating it. Clip and clip. Getting out of a suit after you've been doing it for like hours on the con floor is always like like a spider trying to shed its exoskeleton. This is why you want to buy Lycra undersuits. Say Under Armour, but it doesn't have to be like Under Armour's a brand, so it's just Lycra. So usually I would just recommend getting long sleeve black Lycra tees, and I usually just wear basketball shorts actually. That tends to work pretty well just to keep the sweat off your crotch area. And then if you are worried about your feet, like your leg shanks getting sweaty, you can get Lycra pants that go like all the way down to your ankles, but it's not really that necessary. The main thing with the bodysuit maintenance is to keep it sprayed. So after you finish suiting for several hours, it's going to be soaked in sweat. But if you just spray it, you'll be able to keep going for like multiple outings. And you can buy expensive suit spray, but sorry, I'm like multitasking here. So you can buy expensive suit spray, and usually it smells very nice and it's very good, but when you have a big suit like this, you're going to be using a lot of suit spray, so I would recommend just making your own. It's really easy, just 50-50, 71% isopropyl alcohol and water. That's it. And then if you want to add some fragrance to it, you can do that. But I mean, just fill a squirt bottle, halfway with this, halfway with water. That's really all you need. And when you get out, you want to spray the crotch and the armpits mostly, places where you sweat the most. And you want to do the same thing to your hands and to your feet. The bodysuit, you need to just let it dry with a fan, or you can get these things called hang airs, which are basically like wetsuit hangers that have fans built into it, but just a fan point at it should work fine. And for your paws and for your head too, if you need to dry your head out, you get a boot dryer. They're like $20. They just blow hot air through two tubes, but you can put your two paws on it, your two hands. You can even put the neck hole of your head around it, and like 20 minutes it'll be like totally dry. Alright, so there are a couple more things to show you with the bodysuit. Firstly, you want to get like a good sturdy hanger. If you have like one of the plastic ones, it's just going to bend and break immediately. You want to get like a wood one or something a little bit tougher. Also the extra zippers on it. So on the arms here, there's these zippers that go up part way, and they're mostly, I mean this is black on black so you can't really see it, but That's mostly just to help you get your hands in and out if you have really big hands, and also, in addition to being able to zip this down to cool yourself off for taking a break, also just unzipping these and just kind of rolling the sleeves up a little bit. That can really help a lot, and it can also, it just makes it fur is not like right around your wrists, and you have a little bit more dexterity when you need it. And also the legs. So as you can see, these only go down to like the knees because my digi feet come up to the knees. But there might be times where you want to wear regular paws for some reason, so I figured it's good to have the option for that. So the shanks are actually separate. They're separate little sleeveys, and they have zippers on them to attach. So it should be marked. So this is L shank. So if you look here, we have a zipper. So I'm going to find the starting point of it. Wait a minute. Like that. Okay. Oh, that's the right. That's why. Okay. Left. So you can see starting spot right there. So you're going to start that zipper off like a jacket zipper. Sorry, you're just going to have to not be able to see me do this. I can't show you at the same time. Okay. Come on. Get in the shot. Get in the shot. Whatever. Alright. It's a zipper. You get the point. So if I zip it all the way around, then bam, you now have a contiguous leg. You see? Yes. So I don't really know what situation you would ever really want to do that, but I mean, you have the option. Because as you'll see, the same pattern that's on the leg shank is on the feet. So 2 of those just come with the bodysuit. Okay. Alright, we done with the bodysuit? I think we are. Okay, next on to paws. This will be very easy. Hand paws. They're just paws. There's nothing really too special about them. You can kind of just tell which one is left and which one is right by the way they feel. They have very hard 3D printed claws. They also have squeakers. They look giant on my human body, but when you have the whole suit on, you know, the size matches just fine. So the squeakers can be taken out. So, flashlight. Oh, it really is just a void in there, isn't it? Okay, we're just gonna have to trust me that there's a little pouch with Velcro on the end of it, and that's what the squeakers are in. If you want to take them out and have a little more space, you can just pluck them out of there. Okay. Feet paws. This is a little more involved. So here is a foot paw. Here is one of your foot paws, Zerebro. As you can see, it's the same general pattern. Wow, this light is like washing them out, though. Maybe I just turn that light off. They're still getting washed out. This is UV, so that's kind of why it's like super bright in the lights. So yeah, they come up to your knees. They're marked left and right on the inside, and on the bottom of it, you'll notice that there's a bunch of Velcro strips. So I used to do it where I would just have full like paw pads on the bottoms of the feet, and then you would just put a sandal on when you wanted to wear them out and not mess up the paw pads. I'm trying to do like a triple thing now, so you kind of have 3 levels of how you want to wear your feet. So this is kind of the middle of the road configuration. So there's these Velcro strips on top of the other Velcro strips, and these are only here to protect this surface. This is the soft side of Velcro. But if you go walking around all the time without these protecting those, then eventually that like soft kind of felt material that they're made out of will get messed up by dirt, and it'll eventually not stick as well to the Velcro. So if you're just wearing your feet around like indoors at a con or at your house or inside a room or something, this is probably how you're going to want to have them. But if you want to have the paw pads, you can just take these off. I'm probably going to just give you like a Ziploc baggie to keep everything. So now we have that. And you have these. So these are the paw pads, and then they have the Velcro on the back. So now we can just take one of them and just stick them on. A lot of Velcro, so they're very sticky. So now you just kind of have like a pad on there. So, you know, only have it like this if you want to get nice yellow paw pads dirty, or if you're not, maybe you're in a situation where you're not going to get them dirty, right? Okay, and then the third configuration, this is for if you're walking around outdoors, is these extremely overbuilt sandals, which I've been trying to like perfect sandals for a really long time. Like, it's been like 5 iterations, but I think I finally got it now. So we have like 2 layers of soft foam and then the hard pallet foam, and then I even like threaded 550 cord around the outside of it. And then this Velcro is, again, matching so that it can just stick on there. That's just going to keep it from sliding, because a lot of times the sandals will slide back on people. So now they won't do that. And then the rest of the sandal straps are just to keep the strap. So I'm going to show you how to put these sandals on. So first we're just going to get them all set out like that. I'm going to go right down on top of the foot. And now we can demonstrate this. So you have these 2 front ones that come up like this, and they're going to go like that. So there's a middle strap, and on this set of feet it happens to be elastic. So one goes right there, and then this comes across like that. See? And now these go over top of it, like so. And then there's one more set that comes from around the back. Like so. See? That's not going nowhere. It better not go nowhere. It's like triple redundancy on these things. So let me just show you the level of foot here. See that? Perfect, right? So if you had the shanks for your bodysuit that come all the way down, if you have those on, it's going to bunch up like my pants are doing right now, and it's not going to want to fit, so that's why there's a zipper there. So normally you're just going to have the bodysuit go down the knees, and it should mesh perfectly with this gray fabric here. Okay. What's left? A couple just extra things. These only really pertain to Zerebro, but have your arm donut. And I laser printed a bunch of extra emblems that you can use. I would say probably do a circular piece of plastic either on the back side or the front side, and then just glue all these down onto the bezels of the armor emblems. If you need any help, just message me. By bezels, I mean like the rings on the outside of these. So now we should probably get onto the armor, right? So the hips are kind of the biggest, most importantest part, and they're really hard. They're very heavy. It's like football helmet type status. I already demonstrated these two carabiners and where those go, and you can see there's already padding on the inside. So all the armor for these demonstrations, I already have the padding velcroed in. But when you get shipped your stuff, it's going to have the padding where it's supposed to be, so you should be able to, figure it out and remember that. But you can see where the Velcro that the padding attaches to is, because there's these lines of rivets everywhere. So there's like a strip of Velcro here for attaching this pad. There's rivets here, here, and here for attaching this inner pad here. And obviously, since it's Velcro, you can kind of, there's a lot of room to decide where you want to put it. So for these bottom ones, I recommend that you have the pad coming out at least a little bit past the edge, because otherwise your knee might bite into the edge here. So you just want to use the padding to protect you from the edges of the plastic. But since this all comes off when you do your electronics and your wiring, that's all going to be you're going to glue it down just directly to the inside surface of the fiberglass. And then I gave you some options, so I drilled multiple holes for you to decide on where you want to start the extension of the coil cord coming out of the armor to go to the chest piece. So you can run the wires to one of these holes and then glue around it or put a grommet in there, and then that's what will bring the power down to it. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the hips. So the hips are obviously supported by these two carabiners, but they're also, when you put the feet on, you saw how high the feet come. They're going to kind of rest on the feet as well, and that'll take some of the weight off of your body here, and it should just mesh really well together. Okay. Shoulders. Those are pretty simple. Shoulders are pretty straightforward. There's one pad that goes in them. You can see the inside surface and the Velcro there. And the reason why all this Velcro exists is just so when you get sweaty, you can just take these out and just machine wash them. We have these two clips here. These are what are going to clip to the chest plate, and then some two holes here. You can pick either one. This is again going to be the hole you're going to put a grommet in, have a coil cord going out. That's what's going to attach to the chest to run power to it. And then if you look, you have a hole here and here, and that's what you can run the electronics into to put the LEDs there. Because the Z's, again, I painted these on for you just as an extra, like a placeholder, but I imagine you're going to have LEDs in here and then put the bezel mask on. So now the thing about the shoulders is you can actually put them, attach them to the chest plate and then kind of put it all on as one piece. So aside from needing someone to help you to put the back carabiners on for the hips, putting the arm straps on is the only other thing that you need somebody to help you with, unless you're really good at doing it. So normally it'd be, say we put the armor on and now I have to strap attach both these straps, which I can do it right now, but with the chest in the way, you usually can't reach far enough over to do these straps, so you need someone else to help you with it. But once you've gotten used to it, you can just have these already be strapped and have the shoulders already attached to the armor, and you can kind of like lean forward with the side straps on the chest plate detached, and you can just make the whole chest piece and these fall off at the same time, and you can take the whole thing off in one go, and then you get back into it. If you just put your arms straight up in the air, you can just guide your arms like through these shoulder straps, like as the armor is coming down on you. Yeah, you'll figure it out. I'll kind of demonstrate that here in a little bit. So the chest plate. This is kind of more complicated with the padding. So there's a slight difference between the front and the back padding here. The front padding only has Velcro on one side of it, right? So there's sewn on Velcro that attaches to all these inside Velcro locations. So that's how you can tell which is which, because the front has no Velcro on this surface of it, and you want these bits to stick out a little bit past this point, because this is like a harder foam that's going to protect your shoulders from the weight on top of it. Okay. There's no electronics in the front chest plate. All of it's going to really be happening in the back chest plate, or in the plate that it goes into the back chest plate. So here's the back. And again, we have all these straps are adjustable for you to fit your body. So they just have the they have the clip with the second, so you can just extend them if you need to. And this has Velcro on both sides, and the side facing out just has 1, 2, 3, 4 strips of Velcro, and that's what the battery / electronics plate is going to attach to. So you put the Velcro in here like this, and then that battery plate attaches to it, which, let's go to that now. So here is just the bare battery plate, and you can see it's got soft Velcro spots all riveted on there. So it just goes in like literally just like this. Like it just Velcros in there, and now it's not going to go anywhere. And there's a big enough gap in here for all the batteries and all the electronics to fit just fine. And then at the top here you can see there's several holes, and that's where like your charging ports and stuff are going to go. But let's go back to the chest plate real quick. So you can see here at the top there's a 16mm hole here and here, and one here and here. It's easier to see on the teal, but these two top holes are going to have female 16mm. I typically use 4-pin aviator plugs, and that's what is going to go to each of your shoulders. So usually with 4 pins, that's going to be your 5-volt or 12-volt, and your ground, and then the data signal for the rings, which is on its own circuit, and then the plate, which is on a separate circuit, and then you can control those on 2 different channels basically. Obviously there's no limit. You could get plugs with more pins in them if you wanted to go more crazy, but that seems to be efficient for what I have. So the tops are for the shoulders, the bottoms are for the hips, but both in the back and the front chest plate, I also added holes on the front. So I think on the last set of armor I made, I only put holes in the front so that you could attach it yourself. But they're kind of, you can see them, and they're kind of like the coil goes, like it starts here and then it goes up to here. so your arms might run into it, or you might not like that it's taking up space in here. So I just left the option to also have the holes in the back if you want to run the plugs back there for the hips. So then you'll probably need somebody else to help you attach the hip plugs, but they won't get in the way as much, and also, since all the electronics are like on the back plate, you won't have to run any wiring over the shoulder. Because if you, I'm probably not explaining this really well, if you have the plug that goes to the hips on the front here, then you're going to have to run the wires from the hub area back here up, and then like over the shoulder here, and then down the chest, and then to here, and then across over to here. If you use the plugs in the back, then like all of the electronics, everything can just be in this back plate, if that makes sense. So it's up to you. So, like, pretty much everything that you should be doing with the back plate, or potentially front plate if you decide to go for the front, is just wires and plugs. So you're going to have, like, one main plug that comes from this plate and attaches to this greater back plate. And then that's going to branch out to the 4 spots, and also... it'll just branch out to the 4 spots that go to the 2 shoulders and the 2 hips. And as for powering the head, on the battery pack assembly itself, you can see that there's all these holes here. So this one is the right size to fit a standard voltmeter ammeter, or like a battery meter essentially. This is the correct size for a fuse that I will send you which one to get. This is the correct size for a 16 millimeter main power switch. And then this is the correct size for a 16 millimeter for your charging port. So you're not going to want to use like a regular 12 volt charger. You're going to want to use like a proper a proper 3S LiPo charger. So that's going to have 4 pins, right? It's going to have ground, it's going to have a pin that goes to the 3.7 volt, to the 8.4, and to the 11.1, because it's a 3S configuration. That's how I do it. That's how you're probably going to do it, since you have 3 of these. So a 4-pin aviator also works, because you just need 4 pins to do the full charging circuit, right? And then there's some extra large holes on the sides here. That's what you're going to have to power your head, right? Whatever voltage your head requires is probably like 5 volts. I usually put a 12 volt to 5 volt, or, 11.1 or whatever the voltage is for a 3S. It's basically 12, but just a voltage regulator that drops down to 5 somewhere on the main board assembly here, and then run that up to your hole right here that's going to stick out to a plug, and then that's what your head will attach to. That's how the head will be powered. So, depending on which side you want, there's two different holes for that, and then there's also some larger holes down here, and this is where you're going to want to run the plug that goes to the greater back plate assembly that then branches out to the rest of the circuitry, right? So as far as how the batteries are actually going to go on this thing, you can kind of see I added a little bit of padding here. But normally I do this with 18650s, but you have that different battery size, so that's what these diameters have been designed to fit. They're going to kind of just sit on there like that, right? And then if you look closely around each of these, there's holes, so you can run zip ties through the holes and then go through these smaller holes on the battery pack assembly and basically zip tie it into place on here after you've already put the cells in. So when you put your cells in, I would say just put a little dab of hot glue on one of them and slide it in until it's centered. Do that all the way down the whole row, and then take your nickel strips and spot weld your nickel strips all the way along both sides. And the nice thing is like, even though they're going to be really close, like they're almost going to be touching, it doesn't actually matter, because like if you have it like negative, if you have it like negative, positive, like then the positive of this side is the negative side of this one. Like they're all like, you're going to tie them together anyways. So it's actually a very safe way to like set up a battery array. But then that's going to, if these are up here, that leaves you with basically all of this real estate down here to do all your microcontrollers and stuff. And then these battery holders also have all these extra holes here you can run more zip ties through. There's actually enough real estate in the back of this chest assembly where you could put like you could fit like a whole fan in here. So like once you put these down, you could take like a large case fan or something and just strap it down onto the top of this, just to have it be like cooling everything. It's like, you know, a big square the whole way across that, just to cool everything down. So yeah, I'm gonna send you, particularly Zerebro, like an entire wiring diagram of how I would do it, but I figured, you know, showing you how to do it in video would be a little better. Okay, oh yeah, one more thing. There's a pad for this back plate in case you need it. You can see there's the 2 Velcro spots on there. If this is biting into your back at all, you can just put that pad on there, like so. And then we put this in there, like that. And that's kind of the whole back assembly now. And it's kind of nice that if you put the charging port here, that means that you can just directly plug your charger in and just charge it with the whole armor, the armor all sitting together, or you can pull the battery pack out and just charge it separately if you want to. But when I'm at cons, I usually just leave the whole chest assembled together. So let me show you how to do that real quick. So obviously this is going to need to be in there, but then we're going to bring the front plate around. So you can see these are sticking out, right? So you're just going to kind of give them some extra real estate under there, and then we're simply going to clip. We're simply going to clip these on. Stick that under there. Clip this on. And now you'll see I can kind of just get in and out of this as needed, right? But you can also do the arms. Well, here, let me demonstrate this first. So here's these side straps, right? Just adjust them to the length that they need to be to fit you. And this is also something that you actually might need somebody to help you with, because you probably can't reach around. So it's like the arm parts and the sides of the armor, the sides of this plate, and the back of your hips. Those are kind of the 3 things. As far as just sliding this on, you can do it on your own, obviously. So now I would just get an assistant to, well, you can see it right there. Come around to the front, and this would all clamshell down onto me, right? But we can also put those shoulders on, so let me show you how to do that. You can tell which arm goes where, because these holes should be on the back side, because the wiring is going to be going to the back top part of your shoulder, right? So that means that this one is, this is the front, so that means this guy is on this side. clip, and clip. And now you'll actually be able to see this one. So we have a clip and a clip. See right there? So we go clip and clip. So now it's all one thing. Yeah? Whole shebang. So let me try to do that thing I was talking about where I like slip into it. Let's see if I can pull it off here. First you need to get into the arms like that. Into one arm, into the other, and there you go. But then again, I'm still gonna need somebody to help me do the side straps on here. And then to get out, it's just reverse order here. This might be a little more awkward. Gonna kind of shimmy one. Whoa. Now again, that's the fast way to do it. If you have an assistant, which you're probably going to need anyways, then you just get in normally and then you just do the straps afterwards, right? Okay. So I think that's everything. So now I can finally go over assembly process from start to finish, or I guess equipment process from start to finish. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is actually what I just said. So feed the this girdle assembly, feed the tail strap and all the other crap through this hole, right? Then feed all the tail crap again through this hole. And at that point, right, this is gonna be like here, and this is just gonna be like hanging, right? That's okay for right now. And so is the tail and all that other crap. But then you're gonna actually get in the bodysuit, and then you're going to get it on up to your waist, and then you're gonna put on your strap around the waist, and then you're gonna put on your shoulder straps and get them tight. And then you're going to put the rest of the bodysuit on up to your arms, get them on all the way. So now your tail's on, your bodysuit's on, kind of like I demonstrated. But that girdle piece is still, the front piece is still hanging down there, right? Don't put it on yet. Because the next thing that you're going to do is your hips. This is when you do the hips. So you can tell, actually never even said, you can tell which is left and which is right. Because this angle here, this angle here faces back. So I can't tell if everything might be mirrored in this, but this is left. This is my left side. This is my left side. Wait, what? Yeah, this is my left side. This is pointing back. So this is the left leg. Okay. So let's recap. We have bodysuit on, we have tail on, we have girdle halfway on. Now the hips go on. So I'm gonna step through them like so. Oh, here's another thing. The padding in the bodysuit here, the knee pads, you're probably not gonna fit in these hips with the knee pads in, so don't do that. You can have the butt pads in when you're wearing the hips, but these knee pads are not necessary for the hips. The padding in the hips is all that you need. These knee pads are just there if you decide that you want to just like not wear the armor but you still want to have a digi suit. You can put these pads in. So again, you have options. You have basically a regular digi suit now, and you have a Protogen suit, and you have what could be a plantigrade suit if you put the leg shanks on. Okay, so these pads would not be in here, but the butt pads still would be. Okay, so you go in, you have this on, and then now we're going to take the carabiners and we're going to go into the slits that are like right here, that Velcro slit and this Velcro slit. You're going to attach left and right, and then in the back there's also a Velcro slit. That's what this comes up through to attach to the D-ring on the belt, right? So now you have both your hips on. Now you can put the front part of the girdle on. This part. So, assuming that this is now sitting here like that, now you can bring this up around to the front like that, just going between your legs, right? Okay. So now you have your hips on, you have your girdle on. Now you put the feet on. That's easy, you literally just slip into them. And next you're going to put your chest on. So you can either do it with the shoulders attached or not attached, however you want to do it. Just slip it on, and then you're going to clip the side buckles on it, and then you're going to attach the plugs for the hips. So either in the front or the back, wherever you decide to put them. If you have the shoulders already attached to the chest piece, then you could already have them plugged in before you actually put it on, so your assistant doesn't have to help you with that. And at that point, you're pretty much done. You just have your head and you have your hand paws, and those are usually the two last things to put on. You're going to be taking those off and putting them on constantly. Hand paws are straightforward, head is straightforward. Just going to slip it on, and then whatever thread on power system you have going to the head, so you'll attach that, and you should be fully equipped. In an emergency, if you really need to get out of suit, just the shimmy to get the chest plate off. Once you have the chest plate off and you have use of your arms, that's like you're basically free. So if you get really hot or something happens, you're just gonna really just unthread your head, throw your head off, and then just undo the hip plugs, and then just like literally, if you're really sweaty, it might just like just slide off you because you'll be so lubricated. It would just like throw the whole chest assembly off. Yeah, okay. So even faster now. Even faster for the assembly procedures. Let's go over it one more time. It's gonna be put the girdle through the tail, or put the tail straps through the girdle. Put the tail straps to the bodysuit. Put the bodysuit on. Attach put your belt on. Put your shoulder straps on, and then put the hips on, and then put the girdle on in the front, and then put the feet on, and then put the chest on with the shoulders, and then attach the chest plugs, and then do your head, and then your hand paws. Okay, I think we're done. Alright, so now that I'm actually getting into this, it seems like you might not even need the back straps to keep everything in place, so maybe if you're like actually walking around on the con floor, but for the purposes of this, that's actually just fine. Just like that. The two front ones. So now those are attached. Now I can grab the girdle, bring it up around, like so. Left,